friends, I'm Valeria at Chase and Paper. Welcome back to my channel. Halloween is coming up and I am here with a fun project I wanted to share. We are going to make these accordion type booklets. Let's look at one of them. So this is the optional closure. It opens up just like a booklet, like so. And I used a lot of Halloween themed ephemera and images in here. Now that's the back of the booklet, and it also opens up this way to reveal more collages. I added lots of different types of texture, lots of different types of ephemera, but it's all Halloween themed, and it turned out really fun. This one is slightly different. It also follows the same Halloween theme, but the windows are placed in different spots. So it opens up this way. And it leaves a lot of room in the back, which is good for writing or tucking in a tag or two, whatever you want to do. There are so many options with this. Now, also keep in mind, if you are not celebrating Halloween or you are not into Halloween crafts, that's okay, because you can use this same principle to make a booklet that's going to follow any theme. You can make them Christmas themed. You can make them to fit any theme of any journal that you're making. The possibilities with these are endless. These are so simple and fun to make. I'm sure you're going to love them. Please make sure to give my video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're new here. And now let's get started. I am going to begin with one of these Tim Holtz Halloween backdrops. Basically, it's just thick, double-sided scrapbooking paper. And it measures 6 inches by 10 inches. So many good options to choose from. I'm going to go with this one. And now we are going to make an accordion fold. I'm going to fold this paper in half, lengthwise. Make sure the corners are matching up. And crease. Fold this piece in half once again. Now I have all the creases I need, and I'm just going to use these creases and refold my paper to make it into kind of like a booklet, like this, and like this. There. This is what it looks like if you look from the top. This is what it looks like if we open it up. There, there, and there. Now that our base is ready, I'm going to go ahead and round all the corners. There we go. All the corners are rounded, and now we can move on to adding some windows. So we are going to add the window on the front, and then a window right here on the third fold. I'm going to measure about 1 inch from the bottom. There. And now I'm going to measure my frame from the left and from the right sides. Let's say about 3/8 of an inch. There. I'm going to draw a light line where we measured 1 inch. And I am going to draw a line on my 3/8 of an inch mark. The line is running parallel to my edge right here. Same thing on the other side. And I want to make a rounded top. There are many ways you can do it. I'm going to bring in this circle template. If you don't have the circle template, it's not a problem. Just look around your craft room and I'm sure you'll find something around. Here's the Mod Podge bottle, and if I open the top, I can use the lid and make my rounded top this way too. So just use whatever you have on hand and be creative. That's our thing, right? And so here is my rounded top. And I'm not sure how well you can see my drone design, but I can see it really well. First of all, I am going to make a hole in the center. And here's my curve. And there we have it. There's our window. Now I'm going to add my second window right here on the third fold. Here's the best part. I don't have to measure again. I can simply use the window we just cut out and place it at the right spot and trace it. I traced my window and now I have to cut it out the same way I cut out the first window. And now our second window is cut out. If you are planning to do any inking at all, now would be the good time. And just a little bit around the edges. Now you may notice that the sides where we cut out the windows, they're kind of a little bit flimsy, right? Yeah, it just doesn't look like it's going to last. Well, I have a solution for that. We are going to reinforce these windows with acetate. So I am bringing in a transparency, placing my transparency on top of the window, marking it here and over here. Now we know that our windows are exactly the same size, so we don't even have to do the measurement and marking twice. We can just do it once, and then we can just use this transparency we just cut out. We can use it again to make a second one, and I have two identical pieces of acetate cut out, and they're ready to cover our windows. I'm going to go ahead and round the top two corners on each of them. There. And we are going to glue them on the inside of our windows. So this is what it's going to look like from the outside. But before we do that, I want to age these a little bit. I want to make them look older and rusty. So I am going to use my alcohol inks. So the colors that I'm going to use are caramel and latte. And there I'm going to put them on this kind of white background so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to use my sponge that I use for alcohol inks. Now I'm going to go ahead around the perimeter. And that's going to add a really nice accent. And now I'm just adding some drops of alcohol ink here and there. And you can just let them find their own placement and let them just spread free form, or you can use a sponge again. That's up to you. Combination of both looks nice too. All right, now I'm going to move these out of the way and let them dry just a little bit. I'm going to use this glue runner tape by EdTech to apply our acetate onto the windows. Once again, I'm going to be applying them on the inside. And I'm going to run some glue right along the window opening here. and here. And this is really sticky. Now, if you got some glue onto your table or onto your craft mat, it's really easy to get it off. Well, it's fresh anyway. Here it goes. Nice and straight. Perfect. It looks good from the inside. Now let's see what it looks like from the front. Looks pretty good too. I love that little rusty edge. Very nice. I'm going to do the same thing right here with this window. And now for the fun part, let's add focal points that we are going to see through the windows. I'm going to pick a couple of paper dolls from this Tim Holtz Halloween ephemera pack. I picked these two paper dolls. She looks very ghostly and they look kind of like vampires. And I actually went ahead and added some accents to their faces with a black marker, just to make them a little bit more frightening. This lady is going to go into our front window right here, just like that. But before I glue her down, I want to make a bit of a collage. And I'm going to pick a few pieces from Layers Halloween pack. This one is also from last year. I'm a big fan of reusing what I have rather than buying new pack every year. And that pack actually had this beautiful curtain. So I am going to layer this curtain with our ghostly lady. First, I'm going to cut it to size because it's way too long. There. And she needs something to rest her arm on because this is just the way this picture is. I like this sticker right here. I am going to ink it just a little bit. So I'm beginning with my sticker. I'm using my Scotch Create glue stick. And there we go. Perfect. I'm gonna place her right where I planned so that her arm rests on that sticker. And now I am going to add this word Bewitch to the front. I'm going to make sure it's sticking out just a little bit to the side. And because we are going to be placing it, at least part of this word, onto the acetate, I am going to use this glue runner tape again, flipping it over, and I'm not putting any glue on that side that's going to be sticking out. And there it goes. We can always add more layers to the front if we feel like we need them. But right now I'm going to move on to our second window. And I am going to place our ghostly children onto this last page right here. Once again, before we glue them down, I'm going to build a little collage in the background. So I'm going to add this little piece of ephemera right here behind them. And I have these Halloween cupcake wraps from a Dollar Tree. I'm going to use one of them as a topper. Right, so I'm going to cut it. There. And now for this piece. A part of it is going to be visible, so I don't want it to be stark white. I'm going to add a little ink to the back. Looking good. So this is what it looks like so far. I would like to add maybe another layer to the background. I'm going to add a little piece of ephemera, kind of just to make our focal point pop. And there it goes. Looks like a torn piece of an old letter. And now we are adding our focal point. I'm going to add just one more little element to our collage right here. Now I feel like it's nice and full and doesn't need anything else. And this is what it looks like through the window. I am quite happy with it. Now let's go ahead and look at this side. This side is also visible through the window, so we also want to add some sort of a collage or some sort of a focal point here. I believe I'm going to make this space really functional, and I'm going to add a writing tag. In order to make it quick and easy, I'm just going to use one of these collage strips, and this strip should do really well. This is what it's going to look like when placed inside. I feel like it's not taken away from this main focal point, so now I'm just going to cut off the sections that I don't need. Just making sure it's the right length. There. Now it is going to be a writing tag, so I'm going to leave the back plain white so that we can write on it. I'm going to go right ahead and round the corners. Adding just a little inking all around. And now we need to make a pocket or something to hold this tag in. I don't want to make a classic pocket because I don't want to really hide this tag. I like the way it looks. So instead, I'm going to do this. I'm taking a scrap of paper in a similar color and I'm going to make it a little narrower, like this. And I'm going to wrap the ends of this paper around our tag. There. I decided I don't want it that wide, so I'm just going to cut it just a little bit. So now it's probably about 1.25 inches wide. And there. This tag fits really well. Now we'll go ahead and put some glue on the wings. And right here, gluing this in. It fits. It holds our tag in nicely. I will go ahead and add this word ghostly right here. Perfect. And that's what it looks like through the window when it's open. Now while I'm at it, I'm going to add one more element to the front. I found this round number 31 and I think it's going to look really good right here. There. Just an extra layer to add dimension to our front. And now let's add a finishing touch. I want to add this bed at the top. Add in some glue. There. Let's open it up. First page, the second page, the back. I added a little stamp with the number right here. Flipping it open. And here's our writing tag. And we are back to the front. The closure for these are perfectly optional because look, it lays pretty flat. So if you want to tuck it into your journal, you could add a little paper clip and it's going to look just great. Or if you're planning on using it as a little decoration on the shelf, it's just going to stand. If you really want to close it, you could use a piece of string or a piece of elastic. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to use this thin black elastic cord. I got about 10 inches just so that I can comfortably tie it. And I am tying it on, making a double knot. There. You can snip off the ends or leave them a little longer, whatever you like. And I made this tiny little cluster with Halloween themed pieces of ephemera. I attached it to the gourd shaped pin, and I'm going to attach this pin onto our elastic cord. And there. We added another decorative element, and it's now closed and stays flat. And there we are, my friends. We made this fun little Halloween accordion tag booklet. I hope you liked it. Please let me know in the comments if you think you're going to give this a try, or if you're inspired by this project to maybe make this type of an accordion tag with a different theme. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with as many friends as you can think of, because I bet they will like this as well. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, and I can't wait to see you next time.